Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagate Satma. Bando Mori Savadana Mate. Jahara Prasadeva Eva Bhattariya Jahan. Krishna Prapti Hoy Jahan Hote. Guru Mukha Padma Vakya Chitate Kariya Kya. Arana Kaiyo Mane Asa. Shri Guru Charana Rate Aise Uttama Gate. Ye prasadi pure sarva asa. Chaksudan nilote janme janme Prabhu se. Divya Gyan Radhaya Prasita. Prema Bhakti Jayate Avija Vinasya Jate. Vedigai Jahara Charita. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Lokena Lokera Divana. Ha Prabhu Karo Daya Deho More Pada Chaya. Vedigai Jahara Sarita. Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu. Lokenath Lokera Divana. Aha Prabhu Karo Daya Deho More Pada Chaya. Evigai Guk Sukti Bhuvana. Dui Pade Loila Sarana. Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pasyata Desatarine. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar, Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya, Jagannatha Jaya, Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai, Gaura Nitai, Jaya Gaura Nitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Can play the mridang? Anyone wants to play the mridang? Bishop, can you play the mridang? I don't know. Oh. Okay. Jai Gaur Nitai ji.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai. Kiba Jaya, Jaya Gaurachande, Arati Koshopa. Janavita Hatavane Jagamanaloka Gaurangeya Rati Shobha Jagajanamana Gaurangeya Rati Shobha Jagajanamana Jagamana Manaloka Nitai Gaura Haribo 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo Kibotaki Nenitai Cha Mameka Tadhara Nikateya Tvaita Shriti Vasa Chatradhara Iva Pushiyache Gauracha Ratna Simhasane Gauracha Arati Kore Ne Brahma Adi Devekane Ivo Narahari Adikori Chamaradulaya Sanjaya Mukunda Bashi Ushadikaya Kunda Bashi Shivo Shankha Bhaje Kanta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Mridanga Bhaji Paramaratala Shankha Bhaje Ghanta Bhaje Bhaje Karatala Shankha Bhaje Ghanta Bhaje Madhur 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 Bhaje Shankha baje, ghanta baje, madhur, madhur, madhur baje. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Kiba Bahu Koti Chandrajini Madana Ujwala Gala Deshe Anamalam Kore Chalamala Shiva Shiva Shuka Narada Re Megadadhara Bhakti Vinodate Gaurada Sampada Bhaja Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Tanya Anda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sita Gadada Srivasadi Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadada Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Na Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Hare. Yeah. Hare Rama Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare, Nitai Gauranga, Gaura Hare. Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Jai Sachinandana, Gaura Hare, Jai Sachinandana, Gaura Hare. Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare, Gaura, Gaura, Gaura Hare. Louder. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Ramo Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Haribol. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jayo Jayo Prabhupada. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरा शद शद श्री श्रीमद् अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरा शद शद श्री श्रीमद् भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती महाराज की जय। इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की हम आचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री मायापुर नवदीप धाम की श्री मधुरा वृंदावन धाम की श्री गंगा मई यमुना मई की श्री भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की वृंदराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की हरि नाम संकीर्तन की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories, all glories, all glories to Guru and Gauranga.
Namaste Narasingaya. Praladalata daine. Hiranyakashipurvakshaha. Shilatankanakalaye. Ito Narsima Parato Narsima. Yato yato yami tato Narsima. Bahir Narsima, Hridaye Narsima. Narsingamadhyam Sharanam Prapate. Tava Karakamalavare Nakham Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Bringa Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare Jaya Jagadisha Hare प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल।
Yeah. Oh my God, this is not.
जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारी यमुनतीरावनचारी जय राधा माधव कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनतीरावनचारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Sai Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol, Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai. All of you fold your hands, please. Fold your hands. Repeat after me. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Ram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswati Vyasam Tato Jayam Hudirayat Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktiri Bhavati Naistike Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Can you come a little closer, please? All of you. A lot of room here. Okay. So we will go to the 7th chapter, 24th shloka. If you have there, or you can open your smartphones. 724. Okay. Everybody got the smartphones? It's actually 714, sorry. 714. 714. Okay, so let's recite the shloka. Okay, repeat after me. Daiviyesha gunamayi mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yetam tarantite. Anybody would like to recite, please? Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durataya Mamevaye prapadyante Maya yetam tarantite. Mataji. Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yetam tarantite. Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yetam tarantite. Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yetam tarantite. Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yetam tarantite. In the interest of time, I would like Mataji's one or two, please. Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yesham tarantite. One more, Mataji's. Daiviyesha gunamayi Mama maya durachaya Mamevaye prapadyante Mayam yetam tarantite. Okay, repeat after me the translation. This divine energy consisting of three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. So this is such a authentication from Lord Sri Krishna. He himself is saying that Daiviyesha gunamayi mamamaya duratya. So we all know that Krishna has three energies, right? What is the first one is external energy of Lord Sri Krishna, internal energy of Lord Sri Krishna, and in between is Tatastha Shakti. That's called marginal potency. So, and Mayavadis claim that Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya, right? Which is totally absurd because in case of devotees, Jagat is also external energy of Krishna. And with external energy of Lord Sri Krishna, we can perceive the absolute truth as well. So that's how the devotees take into consideration. So, and we have Sri Ram Navami coming next week. So I just picked up this sloka. I just want to connect to some pastimes of Lord Ramachandra as well. Okay, so here, raise the hands if anybody is not subjected to the three modes of material nature here. Is not bewildered by the material nature, right? Doesn't matter the devotee or non-devotee, we are all subjected to the assaulted by the three modes of material nature. Doesn't matter, right? And we are governed, controlled by the three modes of material nature. But these three modes of material nature is none other than Krishna's external energy, right? And when we take the the shelter of external energy of Lord Sri Krishna, it is for devotees, doesn't make difference, external, internal, everything is Krishna's energies. That's why we take it. Okay. And the how to overcome the external influences of the material energy, right? And in case of devotees, Krishna gives chance to practice devotional service, or whenever there is a decline in religious principles, or when the adharma prevails, and Krishna explains in the 4th chapter, he comes in different incarnations, different expansions, Leela avatar, Gunavatar, Manvandar avatar, extra, all different avatars, Krishna comes. Here, in the 4th chapter, Krishna explains that Dukkhalayam Ashvashvatam, right? In the 8th chapter. What is that? Dukkhalayam Ashvashvatam, Napnuvanti Mahatmana, Samsiddhim Paramam Gataha. Krishna is the manufacturer of this world. And you go to a company where they're making buckets. For example, they're making buckets. And buckets manufacturer tells that there is a small hole in the bucket, and whatever amount of water you put, it's going to be drained away. And manufacturer himself is telling that there is a hole. Same way, the manufacturer of this world, Krishna, is telling whatever arrangements you make in this material world, what happens is like a small slit, goes away. So he himself is declaring Krishna. But in spite of that, we constantly endeavor to seek the happiness here, where happiness doesn't exist at all. The happiness in the material world is just a difference between two miseries. Here there's a gap, right? So Krishna himself is declaring this world is Dukkhalayam Ashvashvatam. But here, look, Daiviyesha Guna, my external energy is so powerful. If you go to 3rd chapter, 26th shloka, Kapila Muni is explaining to Mother Devahuti the material nature, the qualities of the material nature, how thick each layer, mind, intelligence, false ego, etc. Each one is some thousands of miles of thickness. To overcome those, what should we do? Mother Devahuti is asking Kapila Muni very nicely. And finally comes that only way is devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It's the only way we can get out of this material entanglement. So, to give the devotees a chance, Lord Sri Krishna descends in this world. And 4th chapter explains very clearly that how Lord descends into this material world. So, what are the shlokas? Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhidhamana dharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. And next one is paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya dushkritam dharma samsthapanardaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, there are 5 reasons why Krishna comes. First, when there is a decline in the religious principles, decline in religion. Second one is predominant rise of irreligion. Third one is to save sadhus, paritranaya sadhunam. See, Krishna didn't say Jushtukritam then pavitra. He said paritranaya sadhunam. Krishna's only duty is to give pleasure, save his devotees. He doesn't have to come to himself to Dushkrita to kill them. His energy is enough. But to give pleasure to the devotees of Krishna, he says paritranaya sadhunam. He comes for that one. And last but not, 4th one is to kill, destroy this miscreants and demonic tendencies. 5th one is also to establish dharma. To establish dharma. And also there are some internal reasons, external reasons why Lord advents. You know, in case of Mahaprabhu, you know very well there are internal reasons, and it's a confidential reasons why he comes internally. But external reasons also there are there to protect, paritranaya sadhunam. So, in this case, the internal reasons of Krishna or Brahma, the Acharyas will explain in detail why internal reasons, but we are not going to internal reasons. We see external reasons why Lord Ramachandra and Lord Krishna. If you take all the incarnations of Lord Sri Krishna, these two are very attractive personalities, like Lord Ramachandra and Lord Sri Krishna, right? And if you just go back, right? Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita time and again that Aham Bija Prajapita, right? He is the seed-giving father of every living entity. Krishna also has the capacity of manipulating material nature so that we cannot be affected. When you take the lotus feet of Krishna and surrender, then Krishna helps us to manipulate material energy so that we can be not influenced by it. But at the same time, Krishna doesn't belong to material energy. He only creates it. Krishna doesn't belong to any of this material. He is called Shuddham Vishuddham Vasudeva Tattvam. Krishna belongs to beyond the mode of material nature. He doesn't belong here, but he's a manager. He manages all these things. Of course, his energy is managing, okay? So he manipulates in the same way. Then it comes, he says, Lord Ramachandra, subjects himself with the will of providence. In the case of Lord Ramachandra avatar, what happens in case of Krishna, etc., they are not affected material nature. But in case of Lord Ramachandra, he accepts as a normal human being and he subjects himself to the will of the providence. That's the beauty of Lord Rama's avatar. He subjects the will of the providence. It means he takes as a simple son, whatever it is, and he goes through all the tribulations, etc., what we went through. And he shows an example how a normal human being behaves, how he has to go through, how tolerance, how being a nice son, how being a husband, etc., those qualities. So what I would like to discuss here, some of his qualities here, okay? He shows himself as a helpless human being who is subject to all kinds of ups and downs. The Ramachandra went through all those things. And sometimes we see Ramayana as more powerful in India, because when Ramananda Sagar left, will release Ramayana, in those days, I think I was in India around 90s. Nobody used to be on the roads. Everybody used to go and watch Ramayana because Ramayana is more attractive stories are there. Right? So that's the beauty. And when these Ramayana stories are attracted, a lot of people started reading Ramayana. Even Hindus, non-Hindus, everybody used to watch Ramayana serials because they're very attractive. Okay? And so powerful languages. If you look at the Ramayana, it was translated to so many languages. And here, one of the questions for all of you is a quiz question. How many shlokas in Bhagavad Gita? 700. How many shlokas in Bhagavatam? 18,000. How many shlokas in Valmiki Ramayana? Who said that? Okay, you get prize, first prize. Okay. And how many shlokas in Ramayana in Brahmaloka? Please answer. Of course, I just got the answer. I don't know. And also 100 crore verses. 100 crore verses of Ramayana shlokas and Brahma's shlokas. So every planetary systems have scriptures elaborately based upon their capacity, based upon their energy. The scriptures are expanded. So if you go to Brahmaloka, the Ramayana has 100 crore verses, Ram stories. Okay. So in this case, we'll take a small episode from the Lord Valmiki Ramayana, what he did, okay? So one day, Valmiki Mahamuni was sitting and he was meditating. And he was in the ashram with his disciples. And he was contemplating about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. At that time, he had a particular desire in his heart. He wanted to glorify the Supreme Lord, okay? And who is the spiritual master of Valmiki Muni? Narada Muni. Narada Muni is the grand master of all famous personalities, Prahalad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, etc. Okay, so he comes there and he took a look at the contemplation of the Brahma. I'd ask him, what are you contemplating upon? Okay, then is Narada Muni, who happens to be Guru. So when Guru comes, and then Valmiki Muni is very honest, because it's not like, most of us, we want to test my Guru. That's our kind of mentality we have. Okay, let me see my Guru knows this shloka or not, or my Guru knows this. That's not the way. The fourth chapter explains very beautifully Valmiki Muni how he behaved. What is that? Paripranena, pariprashnena, sevaya, upedjakshintite jnanam, jnanam tattvadarshana. You want to really find out answers from his Guru, Narada Muni. Okay, and Narada Muni comes to the ashram and he pays obeisances, etc., etc. And then Narada Muni puts a question. Valmiki Muni puts question to his spiritual master, honestly, and he's asking a question. I would like to know the person who is most virtuous, whose character is spotless, self-controlled, is most powerful, and is most beautiful, and his power is such he can even subdue demigods, who is not corrupted by the influence of power. He is humble and forgiving. He gives shelter to everyone. He discusses all the qualities, and I would like to know who is that personality. So his question to. So it's a powerful question, right? So he's asking question to his spiritual master, Narada Muni. Then he said, is there anyone in this world like that? Okay. Then Narada Muni explains in a nutshell the dynasty of Ikshvaku, Lord Ramachandra. And there's a son of Maharaj Dasharath, whose name is Lord Ramachandra. Ramachandra Bhagavan ki jai. And he's the only person fits your description. Now, when you put an advertisement in the paper, right? I want this, one. When you're marital, okay, I want this girl, this girl, this girl, this girl. You put all those conditions. You don't get anything all 100% perfect. You have to compromise. That's the life, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, and in nutshell, he explains whole Ramayana to him. So, and this story happening, look at that. Lord's pastimes are eternal. Eternal means at this moment. Because when Mahavishnu exhales, multiple universes creates. And at this point, somewhere Narasimha Bhagavan Leela is taking place. At this point, the Mahabharata taking place. At this time, all the pastimes are happening at this moment of the time. That's called Nitya Leelas of the Supreme Lord. Anywhere. Okay, so when this story was going on, at that time, Lord Ramachandra already killed Ravana, came back to Ayodhya, and is ruling the country. Look at that. Now people ask, why this Ramayana was written later? It's not that. It's not that. These eternal pastimes are happening simultaneously. All these are happening. So that's what, at that time, what happening was, Lord Ramachandra killed Ravana and came back to Ayodhya, and is ruling the country. There, Narada Muni says he's going to rule for 11,000 years. He tells also Ravana is going to rule. And then, during his tenure, the king, how is explaining how beautiful Rama Raja is. Prosperity is there. So much better than Satya Yuga. That powerful. And there's no one would have disease. No one would have disease in Rama Raja. No one have mental anguish. That's the biggest problem for us, right? Mental agony. I'm worried about my job tomorrow morning, or may I have to join the call. You know, so start again. If Sunday evening, that's why you come to temple. Minimize agony. That's what Prabhupada put Sunday evenings, right? So there's no disease, no mental anguish, and no person will die before his father. Look at that, how beautiful that is, right? And so many benedictions he gives. He says that is Lord Ram, and all the rivers are flowing affluently. And trees are giving flowers and fruits abundantly. There's no question of no famine in that country. That is what Rama Raja. So he's explaining to him. Then, so this is called Rama Raja. Everyone talks about. So in this way, Narada Muni describes, and Valmiki Muni was very happy. He heard, oh, that is our Rama Raja. And he contemplates on the Lord Rama. And as soon as Narada Muni goes away, along with his chief disciple. Who is the chief disciple of Valmiki Muni? Bharadwaja Rishi. With the Bharadwaja Rishi, he goes to near Ganges, there's a river called Tamasa, close by, and he takes a bath there. He's planning to take a bath. And all his disciples are with him, okay? And Bharadwaja Muni offering various oblations to the water, etc., thinking of taking bath, he sits there, he's just resting for a while. In the meantime, what happens? He sees a pair of birds, male and female bird, and they're enjoying and happily making chirping sounds, happily enjoying because it's a Rama Raja, everything is fine. And they're very, very happy and enjoying each other's company, and they're in the passion of conjugate love together at the same time. When he's happily looking at the scene, Bharadwaja, Valmiki Muni, he sees very happy in the heart. He says, that is what, he was happy already when he heard about Rama. What is what our Bhagavatam says? What is this 1.2.14? Srinutam Sakata Krishna, Punya Sravana Kirtanam, Hridayantasyohi Abhadrani Vidunoti Srutsvatam. The moment Valmiki Muni heard from his spiritual master, he became so santush, so happy. all the inauspiciousness from the heart has been removed. That's what Bhagavatam says. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogita. The moment the heart becomes purified, Lord comes and resides. That's what happened to our Valmiki Muni. And he's enjoying and seeing, suddenly, this material world, Dukkalem Ashwashvatam. Again, that comes into picture here. And suddenly a hunter comes from behind and he shoots an arrow with a male bird. Look at that, how this is what expect the unexpected in lives. Expecting the unexpectedness. This is what called life is. And the hunter comes and he kills the male bird. Okay, and male bird just falls down and dead, completely covered with blood. His wings are flapping in agony, and the female bird shouting and crying mercilessly. So this is the situation. Look at that. We all plan for good things. All our IT projects, all IIT graduates, but everything is a failure finally. That's the nature of Kali Yuga. Dvanda, what is that? Dual nature. Happiness follows immediately sorrowfulness. That's what happened here also. And immediately that came. And at this particular scene, male bird, has particular scene that is tragic, then it brings powerful emotional in the heart of the Valmiki Muni. From his mouth, he immediately curse comes to the hunter. And he gives curse to him. And he curses the hunter. And he gives curse. That is a quality of Vaishnava, Paradukkaduki. Sometimes we become mad and with something, immediately compassion flows out of it again. Now, especially our spiritual masters, out of whatever they said, but they have more love. That way I said to my disciple, like they love so much. So that is actually, the chastisement is sometimes good because you get mercy from the spiritual masters. So that's how it happened. He gave a curse. But he was feeling, why I did a curse, why I have done this one, I could have not done. We all do these things, right? Suddenly we take actions very vehemently, forcefully, say, then later we repent life after life about what we say. So it happened to him. And when this particular say, and the curse also he gives in a poetic way. And then from his mouth comes and he curses hunter, and then what happens? You kill this bird and you may never get any happiness in your life for endless years. That's the curse he gives. You kill this bird, you'll never get happiness. Endless, that rest of eternity, you won't get the happiness. Then that particular statement comes out of his mouth, but because he's a pure-hearted Vaishnava, and he still feels sorry, why I did. And as soon as the curse he told, he immediately feels so morose, thinking, why did he do this curse? These things do happen in the material world. Something going smoothly, and suddenly, of course, we all know that, we are all in the same situation, these things happen. Okay. Then what happens is then Valmiki Muni goes back to his ashram. Then he was keep on contemplating, why did I say this one? I could have not said this, I could have not said this, etc. And at that time, what happens is, he's sitting in the ashram, you see Lord Brahma coming. Lord Brahmaji comes. And as soon as I see Lord Brahma, everybody gets up. He's the highest demigod, right? So everybody gets up and do arati, paraphernalia, chamar, everything does, whatever it is, Brahma and all those things. And again, Valmiki, he's sitting there again, he starts thinking about that one. Then he repeatedly saying that, why did I curse him? Why did I curse him, etc., etc. And Brahma smiles at him and says that, give up this grief. Okay, this all drama, I did it. I have done this. There's a purpose behind that one. Then he explains the purpose, why he did that one. Okay, and he says, I did because I want you to write the whole history of Lord Ramachandra, his life, in the same format as you gave curse. In the poetic form, I would like you to write whole Ramayan. And he says this format with the same mood of Karunarasa. Karunarasa means that you are feeling, you said something you're feeling for that. When I want the same way you want to write whole Ramayan. And Ramayan is a lot of tragic events. If you look at Lord Ramachandra, so many things happen. And if everything is going smoothly, suddenly something very, very tragic happened. This is the nature of our material world. And last week, so many things happen in our life, but life goes on, right? So in this whole theme, Ramayan basically Some of tragedy is karuna. It gives a lot of pain to the heart of the devotees. When you hear such things, but in the spiritual life, this pain is considered as one of the highest ecstasies. Pain. I'll give example. I think we all know that, the separation is also kind of a pain. Our whole sampradaya is vipralamba bhava, love in separation. So this happens. Okay. In fact, what happens is, I'll tell in example of Kulashekara Alvar. How many of you know Kulashekara Alvar? South Indian king. And actually, Mukunda Malasotra Prabhupada often refers that we used to have on vedabase.com, but they removed recently. So Mukunda Malasotra. And Mukunda Malasotra Kulashekara Alvar is a great South Indian king. And I tell story, but I just fascinated with one of his shlokas. I almost recite every day. Okay. I can just recite the shloka for 1 minute. Krishna tvadiya pada pankaja panjarantam advaita me vishatu manasaraja hamsa prana prayana samaye kapavata pitte kantovarodana vidau smaranam kutaste. This gives folks, devotees, a lot of inner meaning. Say, oh Krishna, please allow my mind to immediately yield to your lotus flower feet. Just as a flamingo enters into the labyrinth of the lotus flower stems, when at the moment of my last breath, my throat becomes constricted by the action of bodily humorous air, bile, and phlegm. He says that at the time of death, I don't know what my condition, kapavata pitta. Our body is MBA, right? Mucus, bile, air. Nothing else is there. You don't have to be great about your body. It's MBA degree. Mucus, bile, air. Nothing else. Everybody is same, no? So we are beauty, this, that, nothing matters. Everything boils down. If you read the Science of Acceleration book, Prabhupada explains how beauty can be crushed into put in one single bottle. Nothing. So this mucus, bile, air, at the time of death, I don't know what my condition is. And I can say even name of Krishna also I don't know. Kapavata pitte. And please engage me on your lotus feet. This is what Kulashekara Alvar, actually Prabhupada writes so beautifully about a lot of Kulashekara Alvar shlokas. Okay. So this Kulashekara Alvar, how he feels about ecstasy of Lord Ramachandra's story. So he's a king, he is hearing story of Lord Ramachandra. And we all know the Shurpanaka story, right? Very well famous Shurpanaka story. When he is hearing Shurpanaka story, and we all know that Shurpanaka is because teased by Lord Ramachandra and Lakshman, then who want to marry, etc., goes back and forth, and nobody marries to her. Then Shurpanaka is about to do something to Mother Sita, then stops. Okay, then she goes to her brothers, and her brothers send some people to fight with Lord Ramachandra. They lose it. Okay, all this story is there. So, and second scene, Shurpanaka's brothers, they sent 14,000 army to fight with Lord Ramachandra. When Kulashekara Alvar listening the story of Lord Ramachandra, and this is how, when you are in the spiritual elevated, you take part in the leelas of Lord Krishna or Rama, and he thinks that the story is really happening, and he asks his all armies to make the armies ready. I want to go and protect my Lord Ramachandra. 14,000 demons are coming. So the amount of consciousness elevated for the devotees who are highly situated, they think the pastime happening in front of their eyes, they want to go and fight. That is the level of Kulashekara Alvar. And after seeing that army, all his helpers arranged army, then they send for some 4 or 5 devotees from other side. They're coming, running. Then Kulashekara Alvar, why are you coming from other side? And no, we already took care of Lord Ramachandra. He's fine. You have to go back. Then he goes back. So this is what, as the devotion, the consciousness level increases, that you almost take part in the leelas of Lord Ramachandra, Lord Sri Krishna. That happened to this one. Okay, so this is how Kulashekara Alvar feels about Lord Ramachandra's pastimes. Okay, so then hearing these stories, then from that time onwards, they never read any stories of Lord Ramachandra to Kulashekara Alvar which excites him. And then started Bala Ramachandra stories, etc., etc. But one day he fell sick, and his son didn't know the fact, and he started reading again about Ravana kidnapping Mother Sita. And when he came to that story, he became so violent. He said, how can he steal Mother Sita, etc. He started, because he's from South India, Sri Lanka is very close, right? He said, let me go. And he started with his army and he took everything and started going in the sea. And he went into the sea and all the army came back. He went into the sea, inside the sea, and he was almost drowning. And this is what Bhagavan is, when the devotees are danger, he said, okay, my devotee is drowning in the water. Lord Ramachandra come from Lanka side with Sita Mataji, said, Kulashekar, I have taken care of your Mataji Sita. She's fine. Look at here. And then he went back. So the amount of ecstatic symptoms of the devotees when they come in this, especially these Lord Ramachandra stories, that vehement, that's powerful. So that's how the Kulashekar Alvar takes this Lord Ramachandra stories very seriously. And in this case, Sukadeva Goswami also explains very nicely about Srimad Bhagavatam pastimes, what we can learn from the pastimes of Lord Ramachandra. So, and coming here, there are three conclusions Sukadeva Goswami explains in Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, the first one is, what did Ramachandra concluded from this one? Is that it's about how when a person, like in the married life, or a woman has to be taken care of. Okay, and also this is also correct according to Manusmriti as well. Okay, a girl, when she is a small, up to the marriage age, father has to be taken care. Okay, that's one conclusion. And also, when she is married, husband has to be taken care. When she gets old, son has to be taken care. So that's one thing. And also, Ramachandra teaches that when you attach to, I don't want to say that word attached, but anyway, we are too much into the family life and too much attached to the, whatever you call. And what happens that one? You suffer. Suffering takes place. That's what he explains. And third point he says is that Ramachandra wanted to enjoy the rasa with Mataji in a separation mode. That's why they're almost most of the time separated. So love in separation, which is our Vipralam Baba, which is our Gaudiya Vaishnava philosophy, where Mahaprabhu explains very clearly. Okay. And also here, our great Acharya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, explains, he prayed the holy seat of Kurukshetra. Okay, and that he says that I worship Kurukshetra more than Vrindavan. Look at the beauty of this one. He says that because in Vrindavan, it is Sambhoga Leela, Radharani Krishna together. There's nothing like separation. They have pastimes in the night, etc., etc. Always. But here, there was so much expectation from Radharani to meet Krishna in the Kurukshetra, but that did not happen because he saw only Lord Narayan instead of seeing Lord Shyamsundara form. So these are some of the, what I would say, inferences given by our Acharyas Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Okay, and there was too much expectation of meeting, but there was too much separation as well. So we can see these are not ordinary painful stories. They have a lot of meaning in the devotional lives. Okay, a devotee relish this in a different mood. Right? We love so much Ramayana, each and every activity of Lord Rama. He's so pleasing to the heart. His behavior, how we should behave in this material world, Lord Ramachandra showed, according to Vaishnava Dharma. Okay, this is what Lord Ramachandra wanted to show. And we know that Sri Bhagavan has how many opulences full? 7, 8, 6. 6 opulences, 100%. What is the 6 opulences? Aishwaryasya, Samagrasya, Virasya, Vaishasya, Jnana Vairagyachaya. Anam Bhagavan Itiga. So 6 opulences are full strength, fame, wealth, knowledge, beauty, and renunciation. But what did Lord Ramachandra had 100%? Anybody on the quiz time? Yes, renunciation. Because next morning he was supposed to become a king. Coronation was supposed to take place. Then what happened? Mother? Kaikeyi. Big drama. Right? And next morning he calls she says, you agreed for so-and-so promise, you have to fulfill, you have no choice. Then poor guy has no choice, Dashrath Maharaj, he has to do that, right? That's the problem, right? Sometimes, whatever. So he calls, and Ramachandra comes. He's thinking, oh, my dad is calling to put coronation now. He comes, my dear son, yes, dad, you're not getting this country. That's fine, dad, no problem. You're going to forest. Yes, dad, no problem. Today, yes, dad, no problem. From here, yes, problem. Now, yes, dad, I'll go. Look at that. The renunciation is not attached to anything, country, or, oh my God, daddy, you told me you're going to give, why she's telling? No, everything, whatever he said. Yes, dad, yes, dad. That is what the quality of renunciation Lord Ramachandra shows. Of course, he's also beautiful. That's a different story, but 100% renunciation. So one of the renunciations of this one, okay? So, right. And one more story, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits South India, we know that, right? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visits South India, a lot of things happened. He saw the Kurma Brahman, okay, and also Mahaprabhu found Brahma Samhita in Srirangam, right? Somewhere near Srirangam. What is that? Yeah, so that is in Kerala, right, Prabhuji? So he found, so many things happened because of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he went South India, he met one Brahman. Okay, he invited lunch, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, come for lunch. The Mahaprabhu goes for lunch. This Brahman was crying constantly. And Mahaprabhu, I have one question for you. He said, okay, what is that question? How come consort of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Ramachandra, is touched by a demon like Ravana? I cannot bear that kind of, what you call, I don't know. I cannot comprehend in my mind. I cannot take it that somebody like this one touching Mata Sri and how powerful she is like Agni, how he can do it. I cannot sleep. I can fast until my death. I'm not able to not pursue. I'm not able to feel that way. It's something gross. And then Mahaprabhu says, calm down, Brahmana. He says that. Mahaprabhu explains to him, it is not, don't worry, even before Ravana could plan that he would kidnap Sita, he had handed over real Sita to Agni, who Lord Ramachandra. And it is fake Sita that is carried away by Ravana. Okay, then he was somehow pacified Brahman. But still, you're feeling for so long, if somebody gives the one word answer, it's 100%, you don't accept it. It takes a while for us to digest the information, right? Then Mahaprabhu further went down. He said, show me Purana Shastra where this is said. Then he found particular paragraph in called Kurma Purana. In Kurma Purana, there's a passage about this. Kurma Purana clearly explains how whole thing has happened. How real Sita was handed to Agni and fake Sita was given to back where Ravana kidnapped. And that's the reason why they do Agni Pariksha also when Sita Mata comes. At that time, real Sita comes into picture. So this is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Lord Ramachandra himself. You know Shadbhuja Farm, how many of you know about Shadbhuja Farm of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? If you go to Puri, I visited that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. On the wall, there is a Shadbhuja form of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord Ramachandra, Krishna, and Mahaprabhu. So that's how. So this corroborates that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Lord Ramachandra. Right? So these are some of the pastimes I thought of sharing with all of you. And Shadbhuja form, our Gaudiya Sampradaya, we follow two, Vipulalamba Bhav, love in separation, very powerful. And our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, whatever way you want to see, they appear in that form. So they are all great supreme personalities of Godhead. Okay? So these are some of the Lord Ramachandra pastimes. And what I would like to do, I have maybe 3-4 minutes. I would like to sing a small bhajan about Lord Ramachandra. Is that okay with everyone? Okay, yes. Then with that we'll conclude, okay? And again, I didn't go much, but just I thought of sharing because Ram Navami is coming, at least remembering Lord Ramachandra, that way we purify our hearts, okay? So look, let us do this small song. And again, somebody want to play Mridanga? Okay. So this is a famous bhajan. You all know that? Okay. Let's do this bhajan. Ragupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Ragupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Baju Pyare Tu Sitaram. Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Baj Pyare Tu Sitaram. Raghupati Raghava Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Sitaram Jaya Sitaram Baj Pyare Tu Sitaram. Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rama Raghava Rakshamam Krishna. Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Krishna Keshava Pahi Mam. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Jagannatha Jaya Baladeva Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Gaur Premanand Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.